It's tryout season again and the nerves are playing. I have evaluated thousands of players throughout the years and have seen how they've developed. I was right for all of them. No, not really. But I was right about many of them. So let me share the 18 most common mistakes that players do all the time. Some of them will sound crazy and unfair from the evaluators, but remember that you are not judged by robots that will look at only your soccer ability, but by humans that are biased by their nature and have feelings shaped by their life experience. Let us know in the comments which one is your favorite and if we have missed any that you think is important. Not greeting the coaches and evaluators. Don't let me start on this one. First impressions matter, and as socially awkward as you might be, just a simple hi or even a head nod would do. I once told a player to get me the ball so we can start the tryout game, and he just ignored me and turned his head. It left a bad feeling that I had to fight against throughout the tryouts. Complaining about anything. I am sure that something is not exactly like you like it, but get on with it. The coaches are doing something that they don't want all the time and managing the situation the best they can. Of course, if you are winger and you are asked to play as a goalkeeper all of the tryouts, you should speak up. But if you are asked to play on the red team instead of the blue team, just do it with full commitment and enthusiasm. You probably don't know why that is, and even if you do, complaining will not give any positive outcome for you. You have only few interactions with the evaluators, so why would you want one of them to be about how you are causing problems without understanding the situation? Asking to play only as a striker. It's not just about striker, but overall for players that want to play only in one position. Okay, I know you might be a great striker, but realistically, if you must be a striker and don't score goals right away, then you are just causing trouble for yourself. Good players are versatile, and unless you show that you are willing and able to play multiple positions, it will limit your chances at the tryouts. The coach has something in their mind, and unless you come up as options on multiple positions, they will think less times about you as the player in the starting 11. Playing only half the time. I keep seeing players at tryouts that will either only attack or only defend, even when playing small-sided games. I put the note half a player right next to their names. We play 11v11, and if we have a player that doesn't play in both phases of the games, they better be worth twice the players in the one that they play. We know of players like Hazard or Ozil that were world-class and played only when attacking and still reached the top. You are probably not like that. Not being fit. You might play only in attack because you don't have the stamina. And that is really up to you. You need to prepare for tryouts for weeks and months ahead of time. Then come early before the tryouts and make sure you warm up properly. I see players getting injured at tryouts without contact. That often talks more about lack of work ethic than about the athleticism. Note that there is an exception when it comes to injuries, especially long-term ones. Make sure you talk to the coaches about it, so they are aware of it. Not trying to stand out and be seen. You want to stand out with your game, but also you want to stand out with your appearance. Sometimes you might be the tallest or the shortest player, or maybe even have the most characteristic haircut or glasses. However, if none of that is true, then just pick something to wear that will make you stand out. Get a beanie or a neck warmer or gloves or very bright socks or cleats. You want the coaches to remember you by something, and when doing a good move to remember that it was you, instead of being confused with another player. Not guarding the best player. Coaches don't like players that hide. It is easy to find players that will play well when the team is leading by 3 goals. However, when we are trailing, we need somebody that will take responsibility. You want to show that you can be that person by going head-to-head with the strongest player. Nobody keeps score at tryouts, so this is the next best thing to that. Even if you lose every duel, it shows bravery and tenacity, which is greatly valued. Trying to figure out where you stand while playing. Say there are 50 players at tryouts and there are 3 teams to be made from them, so there are 3 games at the same time at different levels. If you are put in the lowest bracket, that doesn't mean you will stay there forever. Maybe the coaches already have selected you for the highest team and they want to see other players on that field, but they don't want to give you the offer and send you home. If you start not taking the game seriously or act offended, you will actually create problems for yourself. So during the tryouts, just play your game and do your best. Show defeatism and give up. Linked to the previous two mistakes, the situation is that some players just give up at some point during the tryout. They try their best, but then after a few lost duels they start to give less effort. That attitude is unacceptable for many coaches and it immediately puts the players lower on the ranking. Being a leader is to help others get out of defeatism, not get into it yourself. Not passing or playing together. Yes, you should show your skills at the tryouts, but that doesn't mean that you should try to dribble through everybody and score a screamer all the time. In fact, if you can do that, then you are in the wrong tryouts. And if you can't do that, but keep trying, then nobody would want to play with you. Either way, soccer skills include passing, moving off the ball, creating space, defending as a team and many more. Show them all off. Being rude to other players. Yes, you might have wanted a pass forward not behind you, and you gave the perfect pass only for your teammate to miss an empty goal. So what? If the evaluator sees that, they will not blame you. And if they don't see that, but see your reaction, then it's just bad signals you were sending. Be a good teammate and support the other players at the tryouts. The evaluator should still see how you will work with the other players, because they will be your teammates if you join the team. If you are mean to them, then you are just giving work to the coach to manage that. Not talking to the other players or talking too much about other things. I know that this might be a new club and you might be an introvert. But come up with some simple questions just to strike basic interaction. Ask one of the other players if they think it is only small-sided games or full field. Or if there is a warm-up at the beginning. Or which position they play. On the other hand, at every tryout there are few players that are just a distraction, talking to other players about random things. The coaches know that if this is the behavior at tryouts when they are at their best, it will be impossible to handle them during the season. Talking about other clubs or tryouts. Random chats are okay if they are in between sessions and very limited. But there are few topics you should stay away from. Of course you shouldn't get into politics and religion, but there is something even more sensitive at tryouts. That is talking about other clubs and their tryouts. I am not saying be oblivious, but just don't talk about them during these tryouts. I am sure you can stay patient for another hour or two to get off the field before bringing that up. Not speaking for yourself, or worse asking parent to do that. I know that you might not be an adult, but take responsibility. I had parents come in the middle of tryouts telling me that their kid is a right winger, not a left winger. Really? The player is 13 years old, but cannot speak for themselves? At tryouts they should be able to firstly figure it out with their teammates, maybe split the time if both players preferred that position. Or at least ask me if I can make the switch. There are things like finances and logistics that I am glad to answer the parents, but draw a line and move the line up every year as the player gets older. Doing things slowly. I was running tryouts once when a player was always late. They came late to the tryouts, they were lagging behind at the warm-up, they walked slowly to get the ball when it went out of bounds and they were the last one coming back from water break. Guess what? They were doing the same things during the season and it was a pain to manage that, so they kept sitting on the bench lagging behind. You want to drive the team forward, not drag them back. So be the leader that is first in everything, not the last player that everybody needs to wait for. Not saying thank you at the end. Don't forget that the evaluators are still humans with their own problems, biases and egos. They have watched you for the last 2 hours, have made notes and maybe even given you pointers. They often are doing this as a favor to fellow coaches. Just ignoring them and feeling like they owe you something will leave a bad taste in their mouth. Even if it doesn't affect the evaluation or you have already decided to go to another club, just be a good person and thank them for their time. Asking for feedback immediately. Yes, you can ask the coaches for feedback, but don't do that until the end of the tryouts. I was asked for feedback only 7 minutes in. Yes, I noticed a good pass forward and sloppy positioning on defense, but I refused to form an opinion based on 2 moments of the game. The evaluators should look for patterns, not a single move. You should actually get into a habit to collect feedback throughout the year, even when you don't ask. The coach will give feedback to the team, and that is addressed at you, too. Saying yes or no to a team on the spot. If you are just a returning player and you know your spot, or you know absolutely that this is the team for you, then great. Likely you haven't listened to the video until here because you didn't need to. However, if you are unsure about the team, you should always thank them for the offer and tell them that you will think about it. If they press a lot, feel free to say that you need to talk to your parents or family before making a commitment. If they keep asking questions, say that it is a personal matter that you do not wish to discuss right now. If they don't show understanding, you have a problem with a coach that doesn't show respect. There you have it. Let us know in the comments which one is your favorite and if we have missed any that you think is important. Thank you and good luck at the tryouts.